Yeah, hello dear children. Welcome back to my talks. And here today I'm there with standard 11th biology. Okay, in the last class we did glycolysis, and now today we'll do fermentation, and I'll also talk about aerobic respiration. Now when I talk about glycolysis, okay, glycolysis takes place in all the organisms, all the living organisms, takes place in the cytoplasm of the cells. So you can say that it is like anaerobic process because it does not require oxygen. Okay, but as soon as the complete process of glycolysis takes place, pyruvic acid is formed as a result, two molecules of pyruvic acid, and that enters into different phases according to the organisms. Okay, so here today we'll talk about fermentation. Okay, all the prokaryotes, you can say the bacteria and even unicellular eukaryotes, all of them, they undergo anaerobic respiration. Okay, so alcoholic fermentation and all that. So we'll talk about fermentation, and as I told you, whatever it is after that, whatever process it enters into, okay, that depends after pyruvic acid is formed. Okay, and here whatever it is, when we talk about fermentation, the complete oxidation of or you can say the complete breakdown of glucose does not take place in the process of fermentation. Okay, the complete breakdown means CO2 and water. CO2 and water wala wo wahan tak break hoke the complete energy is released. That does not take place in anaerobic respirations or fermentations. Okay, and that takes place only in aerobic respiration. So I'll talk little about aerobic respiration, but first I'll start with fermentation. Okay, so fermentation, again we had done the glycolytic process. Okay, but in your textbooks, in very short, they have tried to show this. So whenever they ask you a question about fermentation, if you do this also, you will be getting marks, and this is a very short one, so I did not again want to. But if you are not studying this and if you are only doing glycolysis, you can do glycolysis, and from pyruvic acid you can put this signs and you can show fermentation. Okay, I hope it's clear. So only that much. If you are not going to do this, you put pyruvic acid, sorry, glycolysis stepwise. Okay, and after that, as soon as you get pyruvic acid, this pyruvic acid into two. Okay, one ethanol and CO2 and the other lactic acid with the help of different enzymes. So finally what happens in fermentation, the glucose breaks down into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate 3-phosphoglyceric acid, and phosphoglyceric acid phosphoenol pyruvic acid, and here NAD gives NADH and plus H plus. So that is there, and lactic acid. Okay, so lactic acid, this pyruvic acid, from here phosphoenol pyruvic acid से pyruvic acid में आ जाते हैं, यहाँ से यहाँ, and pyruvic acid को break down होने के लिए there are two ways. So one, it will give ethanol and CO2. This is what happens in bacteria, in prokaryotes. Okay, उनमें होता है. Okay, और lactic acid this is also a product. Now lactic acid is also found in human beings. Anaerobic respiration के products हैं ये. Okay, it is also found in the muscles of human beings. Okay, suppose when we run, when we do some heavy exercises, then that takes place. Okay, accumulation of lactic acid, and hence we get lots of pain because the energy breakdown with the help of oxygen, that much of oxygen is required to break down a food. तो उतना ऑक्सीजन हमारे बॉडी एब्जॉर्ब नहीं कर सकता है. It cannot take in that much of oxygen, and finally through anaerobic respiration takes place, so that the complete energy, it is not broken down into carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so that is what takes place, and lactic acid accumulation takes place in our muscles also. Okay, so this is fermentation. Okay, so let me see if I have missed anything in your text. Okay, so that is not there. Yeah, yes, it says that the yeast. Okay, yeast can only manage up till 13% of alcohol. If yeast undergoes fermentation of beverages and all, yeast is required. Okay, so when alcohol is formed, yeast can survive only in 13% of अल्कोहल, और अगर 13% अल्कोहल से ज़्यादा होगा तो द ईस्ट कमिट्स सुसाइड, इट डाइज ऑफ. Okay, so it is not alive. That is one important point it says. Yes, now here in the process of fermentation, okay, you can say that this okay, in the process of fermentation, no ATP formation takes place. Okay, and if you remember, अगर हम glycolysis की बात करें, let me talk about fermentation only. If you remember in glycolysis, if you have not seen, go to the link and see. Okay, glycolysis में क्या था? That we saw that 4 ATPs were formed and 2 NADPH. Okay, and 2 ATPs were utilized also. So net result was 2 ATP and 2 NADPH. And here what happens? 2 NADPH which was formed over here, that is utilized. And we get only 2 ATPs. Because ATPs are neither formed nor utilized in this particular process, fermentation. So the net result up till here is just 2 ATP. Okay, hope it's very, very clear. Now we come to this aerobic respiration. Now aerobic respiration, again the complete breakdown does not take place. Aerobic respiration normally takes place in the presence of oxygen. So pyruvic acid or coenzyme A, these are the coenzymes, okay, coenzyme A and NAD, and this is again an enzyme, pyruvate dehydrogenase, in the presence of magnesium ions. So this gives acetyl coenzyme A, carbon dioxide and NADH+. The acetyl coenzyme A, this is the substrate, okay, which enters into Krebs cycle. Yes, TCA cycle you can say, or Krebs cycle. This is the one which enters into TCA cycle, where the complete oxidation, okay, that will take place, the complete breakdown into CO2 and alcohol. So it's not that only glycolysis is the one. So respiration, as you saw, in one step it does not take place. Okay, stepwise reaction it is, and first glycolysis, after that if it is fermentation, okay, if it is not fermentation, if it enters into aerobic respiration, then pyruvic acid from here it will come here. Okay, so acetyl coenzyme A, and this acetyl coenzyme A enters into TCA cycle, which I'll continue with it in the next topic. Okay, I'll only take the TCA cycle. Yes, one more important thing, it said that glycolysis took place in the cytoplasm of the cell, whereas this part, the aerobic respiration or the other part, okay, takes place in the mitochondria. So it has to be, the pyruvic acid has to be transported to the mitochondria of the cell, okay, and the complete process takes place over there. And the aerobic respiration, yes, there are 2 points which it says. The first point is the complete oxidation of pyruvate, that takes place by removing of hydrogen atoms, okay, leaving 3 molecules of CO2. So that is the first process, and that takes place in the mitochondrial matrix, okay. And the second one, passing on of the electrons removed as a part of hydrogen atoms to molecular oxygen, okay, with simultaneous synthesis of ATP. So that takes place where? That takes place in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. Okay, so this was all for today, and yes, we'll talk about the TCA cycle in the next class. Okay, so glycolysis, fermentation, and an introduction of aerobic respiration. Hope that was all right. Okay, so do like, share, and subscribe if you have not subscribed. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you for watching.